Coach, thank you for joining us. What was your reaction to Tom's retirement, and are you expecting Brady to retire a Patriot?
Well, when I saw it this morning, I was a little surprised that he made the announcement, that he made it this quickly, and that he made it the way that he did. But probably fitting in retrospect, especially considering last year's retirement and unretirement. My reaction, I didn't really believe that it was the end. To some degree. I don't know if I totally believe he won't at some point next year play, just because of how he's wired and what opportunities could come up late in the season next year. In terms of him retiring as a Patriot, I mean, that's the only place he can retire.
Just to go back, you could see a mid-season, hey, we're in trouble. Do you want to suit him up one more time for 8 games?
I see more of like a late season, maybe a team. Let's say it's the Raiders with a system that he's familiar with. Their quarterback goes down, or let's say it's the 49ers. 49ers always going to have a quarterback, in flux. Right. So someplace where he could come in and maybe save the day. He's going to be in great shape. He's going to be as prepared as anybody who's on the street.
I just realized that whether I think that's going to happen or not, all next season, that is going to be a topic.
100%.
For any team that either has a quarterback injury or a team that is similar to like the Jets situation this year. I'm not saying the Jets next year, but all this talent could be good and the quarterback position seems to be holding them back. There is hell, we did that for Phillip Rivers. Briefly, right. We did it for Andrew Luck.
What if
Romo?
Maybe
Romo.
I forgot about Romo.
But what if it was New England late in the season that was having a great season, had a chance, and then suddenly
that's a big
the quarterback. I'm just saying,
real blender right now.
Every year at the end of the year, there's a really good team, and something happens with the quarterback, and you're in a situation where you're either dealing with a backup quarterback or you've got a guy who is in great shape, could step in at any point, especially if it's a system. Now, I'm not trying to stir the pot here.
No, you're not doing that at all.
You're stirring it.
But to me, that's totally in the realm of possibility, because he'd be ready if it was the Giants, if it's a system he's familiar with. You can plug and play a guy in right away, and
that's unbelievable.
And he could save the day.
Turn the whole show upside.
Well, no, but you asked me what my reaction was.
Well, that was great.
No,
my reaction was, I believe he's retired. I believe he has no intention of signing with the team early, but why couldn't he come in and save the day for somebody at the end? Because he'll be ready, he'll be in shape, and he'll probably be better than any other option that's available.
And it's not, here's the other thing I will add, and then I do want to say what I would like to see. But he's going to be involved in the league. He's going to be meeting with teams every week, calling games, right? Like that's the. I was going to say, you get real intel on it, but it's not the type of retirement where it's like, with some guys. Our friend Carson Palmer. He used to come on the show back when we were on the mornings, and he'd come in from, I don't know, it was Montana or somewhere. It's like, yeah, bought a ranch, have a winery. Like, he's out, he's still involved in the league, but on a tertiary level. Brady's going to be week by week involved in the league. As far as retiring a Patriot, Brew, you know what I would pay real money to see? Do you remember, it was a couple of years ago, maybe longer, I don't know, the Magic and Isaiah sit down, the two guys? You might have produced it, for all I know. No, you might have. I don't know. It seemed like something you might have made. But where Isaiah ends up crying, I don't think there'd necessarily be crying. I would really like to see Brady and Belichick sit down like that. We have seen Bill on those NFL 100, NFL 100 series, and it's a different side of him. It's almost like the respect for the game overtakes like the hoodie nature of him, and he's dressed up and he's talking about Ed Reed and he's talking about these guys, and seeing him and Tom, if Tom retires, have that type of almost nostalgic, like, hey, remember this game, those things, I think that would be spectacular. And I'm not a Patriot fan, obviously, but as a Pats fan, I think it would maybe be the coolest thing ever, because it does feel like it was, I don't want to say it was a divorce, but it ended awkwardly there, right? Like Tom left, and he obviously still had football left.
You don't think it was a divorce?
It was a divorce.
Okay, well, I mean, but it wasn't. It's not like they trashed each other, right? Nobody said anything bad about the other one since then or whatever. But it didn't feel like it was a clean break, and so I think that would be really cool if he were to retire.
I also want to see, just on that note, like Mac Jones and
He can't even get it out.
Mac Jones and a great wide receiver also just sit down.
Sitting
DeAndre
together.
Hopkins just sitting down, shaking. Going great. All right, Coach, we gave you a challenging assignment this morning. You've got 20-plus years of Tom Brady footage to go through. We asked you, rather than go at 10,000 feet and have a compliment parade, can you give us one specific moment that you think encapsulates Brady's greatness?
Yeah, I thought immediately of the Carolina Super Bowl, and so to frame it up, first 27 minutes, nobody scored. It's kind of dull. We're actually dominating defensively, and then there's a little bit of scoring. Then you go to the fourth quarter, and there's 37 combined points.
Yep.
In the fourth quarter, and at that point, Rodney Harrison, starting safety, had broken his arm. Eugene Wilson, the other starting safety, had pulled his hamstring. We're playing with two special team safeties. Tom gets picked off in the fourth quarter. They score an 85-yarder. The next couple plays, and it's back and forth. Now Vinatieri had a field goal missed. He had missed one, and he had one blocked. So now we fast forward. It's tied up at 29. They kick off to us. They kick off out of bounds. We start driving it, but it gets to 3rd and 3, and we're on the 40-yard line. And we'll go to the tape here. I think there's like 18 seconds left. But this isn't going to be an easy field goal. So we're going to max protect it. We got two guys in the backfield. Troy's down here. Troy Brown's down here at the bottom. He's going to run a little snag route. And then Deion Branch is going to run. It's not really a 7. It starts like a 7, but he's going to bend out about 15 yards deep. Now, as Tom sits back, what Carolina's doing is they're in press man-to-man defense against those two guys, and they've got a safety backing them up. So it almost looks like it's a double team on Deion on the inside, but you can see how tight these two players are to our two receivers. And the corner has inside leverage. The safety has inside leverage. And Deion is going to attack his inside leverage and then push out away from him. Tom sees that, is able to hit Deion here on the sideline. It's about 15 or 17 yards. We have one timeout left. Tom calls a timeout. Adam comes out, kicks the field goal. 4 seconds left. They throw the ball around, and we win the game. But it was one of those things, as a defensive back coach, you talk about a nightmare fourth quarter, game's going great, and then suddenly you're in this, and the momentum had shifted dramatically in their favor. We were banged up, and then for Tom to hit that play, because if we don't get the first down, it's going to be a 58-yard field goal. Not only do we get the first down, but we get 17 yards. Vinatieri comes out.
So do you think, in that specific play, is that a play that only Tom can make? Or were you more impressed by the calmness under pressure in the big moment?
Well, it's a play that eventually we just expected Tom to make. And and when Carolina kicked the ball out of bounds, we got the ball on the 40, it was like, oh boy, okay, here we go. And then even during that drive, Troy got called for offensive pass interference. We were actually back on our own, I think 43 or 45. Like it wasn't a smooth drive. And then we got to that 3rd and 3. We're in that gray area. We're fighting time, and just that presence. We didn't know if they'd pressure or not. That's why we had the max protection. And then for him to sort out Deion, the safeties over the top, the leverage.
But,
huge.
And two things stuck out to me there. One was that Brady predates HD TV by a number of Super Bowls. For real, that's his second Super Bowl, and we still weren't in the HD era, and he was playing in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The other one is Tom Brady's first playoff game ever, which is the Tuck Rule game. You guys are down. I'm just reminding people of what it is on your birthday. But you guys are down 10 in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
You're down 10 in the fourth quarter of the guy's first playoff game. He is not a legend yet. And in fact, some people were like, should we be playing Drew Bledsoe, right? Like at least in the media in New England. He runs for a touchdown. He leads the game-tying field goal drive and then leads a game-winning drive, or field goal drive in overtime. The Super Bowl a few weeks later, same thing, minute and a half left, gets the ball, game-winning field goal. That's first Super Bowl. You just saw he won his second Super Bowl. After that, it did feel like It was a fait accompli when the Patriots were losing games that if they got the ball, that you were screwed. And it did not. And if you actually go through the games, obviously it's not every time, but in our memories, that's what it feels like, because the first 2 times we ever saw him on the big stage, it was the exact same script. Tie game, minute left, Super Bowl, can you get in field goal range? And each time he delivered.
And that permeated the sidelines. So from a defensive standpoint, you could sit on the sidelines and talk about, hey, we just got to get the ball back. We just got to figure out a way to get the ball back, and Tom will take care of it.
That's great. Brew, do you have any final words on the Patriots?
They
greatness?
said it all. They said it all.
Those are good memories. Actually,
Wildes is
great memories.
legitimately emotional.
Well, you know what? I hate to say it. We're getting first down so easily and winning Super Bowls, and now it's like, man, another 3rd and 8.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.